Hi everyone, welcome back to Nonprofit is Business. There are two questions I've gotten asked most across my almost 30-year career. The first is, can you help me start a nonprofit? The second is, I've applied for nonprofit status with the state. It's been approved, but I don't know what to do next. If you fall in either of those categories, or even if you're in the first 10 years of your nonprofit being established, this video is for you, because I think especially for those of you who are in already established and nonprofits and you've gotten going, this could be a really good litmus test for you. Please, everyone, make sure that you watch this video, subscribe, also share it, like it. Please leave some comments. There are five things I'm going to talk about today. It's around mission, vision, values, building your board, myths around funding, establishing a financial history, and then finally programs. Now, I have heard a variety of reasons as to why people want to start nonprofits. On one end, I hear about people wanting to do it because they see a niche and a need in the community and they want to fill that gap. On the far other end, I've heard people say, well, I want to start one because they see it as a revenue opportunity. They hear about all of the funding that is available to nonprofits and they want in on it. Now, if you are on that end, I'm really going to challenge you to really think about the core, because nonprofit really is around a do good. What service to the community? What gap are you trying to fill? And I think that's an important part of it. Now, certainly the title of this channel is Nonprofit is Business. So we certainly want to make sure that the business part is established, but it is around establishing the business for the longevity of the organization. Now, the first thing that I want to make sure you all think about is your mission, vision, values. There are a lot of resources out there to help you write those and to really think about that process. There are consultants who provide support around building it. I'm one of those consultants. But I've also put some resources in the description for you to review. That mission really does say, what is it that I'm trying to achieve with this organization? What are we trying to achieve? What is it that people can really rally around and get behind? And what's your aspiration? The vision is really around, what do I see this, if this happens, what then is a result of it? That vision, where are we headed? What is that North Star? And then finally, those values, they are the core parts, the pieces of the organization that really guide how you engage with clients or people you're serving, or even in engaging volunteers and donors and staff. So you want those core values to be indicative and very clear regarding who you are and how you identify as an organization. Second, building a board of directors. Now, what I also have seen quite a bit is, in the hurry of getting the paperwork done for the nonprofit, people ask their cousins, the uncles, church members, best friends to be board members. And I get it. However, remember, this is a business that you're getting started. And for this business, you will likely need support around human resources, finance, an attorney, because there are going to be some legalities connected to it. Someone who is an expert in the field of the programs that you want to offer. Someone who has nonprofit experience in a rich way that can add value. You've got to think about that these board members are going to be the ones who are responsible. They are the fiduciary oversight for the organization. So they are going to be responsible for making sure they review the finances, making sure they do performance reviews for the executive director or leadership. They will be able to hire and also terminate the executive director. So you want to make sure that you're really thoughtful about who you're building this board around and for what purpose. And it really should be about building the organization soundly. Also remember that the goal around board members is to make sure that they are supporting the organization wholeheartedly. So they should be the first to give to the organization. Funders ask, what percentage of your board members give? And the goal is always 100%. So what is a good practice, in my opinion, is if you're start with board members who are going to give 100% off the board. That means at whatever level. Some organizations set a height to it, but many will say, if you can only afford $1, give the $1, because that counts toward the percentage. And if you can give $1 million, give the $1 million, all right? But you want those board members to help establish some kind of financial giving for the organization. Now, that leads me to the third thing, and that is some myths around funding. Some people believe, well, if you have a nonprofit, there are a lot of grants out there open and available to you. For startup nonprofits, let me tell you, There's very few. There are very little dollars that are out there for you. A lot of funding for nonprofits is based on relationships, who you know, funders and foundations that have opportunities for startups, which again are so few. And so what ends up having to happen is that early young nonprofits have to depend on either crowdsourcing or doing fundraising events as the source for their initial funding. So make sure that you're clear on how you need to establish your finances for the organization, because there's just very few out there, few funders and dollars out there for startups. Okay. All right. The fourth thing is around having a financial history. You need to make sure that you have your financial setup really tight, your accounting setup, your chart of accounts, a system that you can use to chart the dollars that are coming in and out for accounts receivables, accounts payable. That's the business part of it, because ultimately what you want to be able to do is to have external auditors take a look at your books to say you're doing good business, because those are the things that funders are going to look at. So even if you're not far enough along to have a strong enough history for an auditor to look at it, having strong financial record keeping so that they can see month over month you have financials that you're looking at, the board is looking at, and that the organization is operating in a healthy way. So and there are so many parameters out there in terms of what's a good percentage balance between what percentage of the funds that you are taking in or using is for fundraising, how much for administrative costs, and how much for programming. So make sure that you're aware of all of those kinds of things, because they will make a difference as you are trying to get yourself established and set up for future funding. All right, the last thing that I want to touch on are programs or programming. You have to be very thoughtful about what you're setting up in the programs that you're doing. Some people think, oh, I just want to, put together a mentoring program, or oh, I just want to put together a program where I can help kids with tutoring after school, or I want to help a program where I can pick up or go see elders or seniors in their living spaces and provide programming for them. Whatever it is that you want to do, just be thoughtful that there is competition. Listen, there are over 1.2 million nonprofits in this country, in the United States. And there are a lot of resources out there for the community. So make sure you're doing your research to understand what's being offered. And then make sure that you create a niche for what you want, a place in that larger space for you. And then also take a look at the people who are getting funds for like or similar work. And then that gives you a foundation, a good sense of who's funding the type of work that you do, so that you can then begin to try to build relationships. And those relationships happen in many cases because somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, which again takes me back to why it's so important to have a board that has not only this array of experiences, but it's also good to have board members who know some folks. Okay, so I want to make sure that you leave today really thoughtful of 5 things: establishing your mission, vision, values, really being thoughtful about how you build your board, thinking about the myths about funding. There's a ton of money out there, and if you start up, you can get going. Not true. Also, the importance of building a financial history, and then lastly, being thoughtful about how you put together programming ideas. All right, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Again, make sure that you subscribe, like, share, please make comments. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining again, and I'll see you on the next video. So please stay tuned. My gratitude today is for all of you. Thank you for your time.